Hello students, welcome to AffairsCloud.
We have an app called Careers Cloud which you can go and download it from the Play Store. So after downloading it, you can easily log in using your Gmail ID. Once you have logged in, you will be redirected to a home page which contains 4 tabs beneath it. One is Home, the other is All Courses, next is My Courses, and the last one is a Doubt Session. So under All Courses, you can access various types of courses like Reasoning, Quant, English, and also exam specific courses can also be accessed under this All Courses. If you click this Crack Current Affairs, you will be redirected to this page. So under this, you can see various tabs that are available. So here, if you see, the current affairs will be available in English medium, this under Hindi medium, and here banking awareness, we will provide you the monthly compilation of the banking news and current affairs exam PDF, and also special current affairs, which includes mainly the budget, the union budget, the economic survey, which is very important from the exam perspective. And this is topic wise content where that topics news related to the specific topic, they will be combined together and provided to you. For example, see appointments. All the appointments in that particular month will be combined together in a specific place. And similarly, in case of banking, economic news, so all will be combined together. So this will be easy for you to relate to each other news. Next, you can access the daily current affairs on a daily basis, weekly basis, and also on a monthly basis. So after reading the weekly or the daily news, you can also attend our quiz in order to strengthen your knowledge. Under the monthly current affairs, if you see, there are 2 types of PDF that are available. One is the pocket PDF, the other one is the normal PDF. This pocket PDF will give you a brief content of our current affairs, and this will provide you a detailed analysis of the current affairs. So it is always preferable to read this detailed analysis and then have a go through of this pocket PDF. Next is that we also provide you the PIB news apart from the current affairs. So you can go and access our PIB news on a daily basis from this path. And as I mentioned, this special CA covers very special topics like budgets and economic survey. After reading the content provided in this PDF, you can go and attend the quiz given below. And next is the exam perspective PDF. So if you see IBPS PO mains, IBPS RRB clerk, SBI clerk, so these are all exam perspective PDF. So if you go and check, these PDF will contain around 5 to 6 months of the current affairs, which has high chances of high chances of being asked in this SBI clerk mains exam. So it is very useful to go and read this PDF from an exam perspective point. Today, we will be covering May 3rd week banking and finance awareness news. Moving to the first news. The first news is about the annual meeting held by the Asian Development Bank. So, in this, if you see, the Board of Governors had participated, and first time this meeting was held in Italy. So, the 58th annual meeting of the ADB Board of Governors took place in Italy. So, Italy had hosted this meeting for the first time. The theme of this meeting is sharing experience building tomorrow. And I'm repeating it once again, sharing experience building tomorrow. Do remember the theme, it is very important. The next 59th meeting, if you see, this will be held in Uzbekistan. Okay, 58th is held in Italy, the 59th will be held in Uzbekistan. The key highlights of the meeting, if you see, it focused on 4 key areas. First is that ADB has promised that it will raise $40 billion by 2030. And that money, if you see, that will be put into use to address the vulnerability of the region's food system. The food system, if you see, it includes from production to storage to distribution. Everything comes under the food system. So sometimes what happens is that when you do not have a proper storage system, a lot of products gets destroyed, right? They are all perishable products. So they have a lifetime. So maybe 1 day or 2 days that is there. So if you do not store them properly, then it will get destroyed. It will get spoiled, right? So here also you are wasting food. So to address all that shortages, this 40 billion will be put into use, and the $40 billion will be raised by the ADB by 2030. And also ADB will be investing in digital technologies to enhance access to education, finance and markets. Next is ADB is also investing in advancing and connecting the energy systems to improve the energy systems, especially the renewable energy system in the country, in various countries. ADB will be investing for that. It has also promised to pledge up to 10 billion, that is raise or use up to commit up to $10 billion to to support the work on the Asian power grid. So for the Asian power grid, it has promised up to $10 billion. And next is that ADB is making investments helping the vulnerable communities adapt to the impacts of climate change. Generally, if you see, the people who get affected by the climate change are the people who do not contribute anything to climate change. They would not have done done anything to disrupt the climate, disrupt the environment, but they would be the first people to get impacted, to get the consequences, to face the consequences. So we have to protect such communities, right? So ADB has promised that it will make investments to protect such communities from those impacts of the climate change. So these are the 4 focus areas. First, I'll tell you once again. First one is the protecting the food system. So ADB has promised around 40 billion by 2030. Next, investing in digital technology. Next is ADB has promised up to 10 billion to work on the Asian power grid. Next is investment to protect the vulnerable communities, adapt to the impacts of climate change. So these are the 4 key areas. Next, if you see ADB, it has committed around 5 billion USD dollars to India in 2024. So it has given around 5 billion USD dollars to India, and this was used in various purposes like healthcare, education and infrastructure. Across these 3 sectors, this money was used. So apart from that, if you see, 500 million USD was given for the health purpose in Maharashtra, 64 million to Meghalaya. The purpose is to enhance quality education and skill training. Next, $794 million to develop the new capital, that is Amravati, okay, to develop the sustainable Amravati capital city. So we know that Amravati is the new capital of Andhra Pradesh. So to develop the capital, $794 million has been provided. So you have to remember each and every number, and also the purpose to which state it was granted and for what purpose. You have to know that 500 million USD has been given to Maharashtra, and for what purpose? For health purpose, to improve the health of the entire state. So this you have to remember, because they might ask you, high chances of asking in the objective part. So you have to remember $5 billion overall to India, 500 to Maharashtra, 64 to Meghalaya, 794 to the Amravati development. Next, if you see, the ADB records the highest net income in the overall across over 60 years. ADB has received the highest net income. So the amount is $1.54 billion. Remember the amount, it is very important. $1.54 billion. So the highest net income in nearly 60 years. And also ADB has pledged additional $26 billion to the food and nutrition security in the Asia Pacific region, to ensure that every member, every person in that Asia Pacific region have access to good food, have access to nutritional food. ADB has pledged additional 26 billion. Initially, it told that it will provide 14 billion, and now additional 26 billion it has pledged. So overall, 40 billion will be spent for this purpose. So expand long-term food and nutrition security support to Asia and Pacific countries. This 26 billion, additional 26 billion has been allocated. This brings its total funding for food security initiatives to 40 billion over 2022 to 2030. So if this 40 billion will be used for 1 year, no, it will be used from 2022 to 2030. For this time period, this money has been allocated, and the purpose of allocation is food security initiatives. Out of this 26 billion, if you see, around 18.5 billion will be provided for government support measures, and remaining 7.5 billion for the private sector investments. Okay, around 26 from the 26 billion, 18 billion to the government and 7.5 billion to the private sector. Remember this amount, additional 26 billion. Initially, already 14 billion was allocated for this food security measures. The total amount now allocated comes to around 40 billion. And we saw the total highest net income of $1.54 billion, and also the amount allocated to India in 2024 was 5 billion. This you have to remember, it is very, very important. Remember all the numbers mentioned here, because this is the annual meeting, happens only once in a year. So these numbers are very, very important. Next is ADB has collaborated with 10 global insurers to raise around $2.75 billion, and where will this money be put into use? For sustainable infrastructure, to create sustainable infrastructure, to create renewable energy. This 2.75 billion will be put into use. For that purpose, ADB has collaborated with 10 global insurers. So if you see, the agreement is likely to benefit sectors such as renewable energy, sustainable transport, green buildings, data centers that adopt eco-friendly technology. So this is where all this 2.75 billion money will be put into use. Next is FAO, that is Food Agriculture Organization, which is headquartered in Rome. It has gone into an agreement with the Asian Development Bank. The purpose is to boost digital and AI powered agriculture investment solution. So when FAO is involved, it is either it has to be about food or agriculture, right? So how to wisely use the AI solutions in agriculture, because nowadays if you see even the drone technology, right, even that has been brought into use under the agriculture system. Similarly, how to use the digital AI systems in the agriculture. So all for that, this agreement has been signed. Next is ADB has also signed an agreement with Japan. The purpose of this is the ADB market acceleration platform for Asia and the Pacific. So ADB and Japan, they have come into an agreement for launching, or they have already launched this ADB market acceleration platform for Asia and Pacific. So what will this do? So this, if you see, it is a multi-donor trust fund. So various organizations, various countries will come and give money, that is donate their money in this fund, and this money will be used to speed up the private sector development. Just by the government investment, just by the government sector development, the country will not grow, right? So private sector plays an important role in the development of the countries. That is why it is very important to push the private sector. For that purpose, this money will be put into use. Okay, there will be a multi-donor trust fund, and that will be used to speed up this private sector development in the Asia and the Pacific region. So this AMAP, that is ADB Market Acceleration Platform for Asia and Pacific. This AMAP, if you see, it is like a team fund. So here various countries and various donors will come and put in their money. So first donation, if you see, it is being done by Japan. Japan has promised to invest around, Japan has planned to contribute around $20 million as the initial contribution to this AMAP project, AMAP fund. Japan will contribute around $20 million as an initial contributor. So this money will be used to support private companies, entrepreneurs, will be used to encourage investments in the emerging markets. So this is where all this money will be put into use, mainly to improve the private sector, to develop the private sector. This money will be put into use. Various countries and the money, who is providing the money? Various countries and various donors will provide money to this fund. Next is India-Italy Strategic Action Plan 2025-29. So if you see, there was a bilateral meeting between the Finance Minister of India, that is Nirmala Sitharaman, and Finance Minister of Italy, that is Giorgetti. So they conducted a bilateral meeting, and in that, if you see, a lot of the things were discussed, and few generic things like promoting the bilateral cooperation between the two countries, that is in area of trade and investment, defense, space, science, tourism, people-to-people ties. So all this was discussed, and one important data that you have to remember here is that the bilateral trade between these two countries in financial year 24, it has reached 14.56 billion. This is the thing that you have to remember. This is not very generic in nature. That is nothing you have to remember from this point. But this 14.56 billion, you have to remember, it is a very important data. This is the trade, total trade between these two countries in financial year 24. So we have read a lot of data in this ADB news. Each and every data is important. Okay, the maximum, if you see, the highest net income has been 1.54 billion. Then 5 billion USD has been allocated to India, and also from that 500, if you see, 500 million to Rajasthan healthcare, and also around 794 million to the Amravati city development. And apart from that, if you see, around $40 billion for the food security. Okay, so these are the various data. You just have to read it twice or thrice. It will automatically get into your mind. Do not worry, do not panic. Just a few extra data are there. You can easily remember it. Just you have to revise it twice or thrice. That is enough. Remember this also, 14.56 billion. And Asian Development President is Masatu Khanda. Remember this, Masatu Khanda. The next news is about RBI relaxing the foreign portfolio investment norms on the corporate bonds to boost the foreign inflows. So here if you see, certain relaxations has been done so that more foreign portfolio investments flow into the corporate bonds. So if you see, what are corporate bonds? Corporate bonds are nothing but these are the securities that are issued by the corporate companies. Big corporate companies like TCS, Infosys, Wipro and all, they will issue bonds, that is securities. In return, they will get the principal amount from the investors. Okay. And what will investors get in return? They will get the interest. That is called as the coupon payment. Interest will be provided to the investors, and if you see, the bulk amount will be provided to the corporates, and that will be used for various other purposes. So this is the purpose of the corporate bonds. So here resident individuals, qualified institution buyers and even FPIs, they can invest in this corporate bonds. So now they have relaxed, Reserve Bank of India has relaxed the norms so that more FPIs invest in this corporate bonds, more funds are available to the corporate bonds. This is the main purpose of this relaxation. So if you see, the short-term debt investment limit has been removed and also the concentration limit, both these limits has been removed. What is this short-term debt investments? Generally, short-term debt investments are those which mature within 1 year. So there was a limit that if the security, that is, if the corporate bond is maturing within 1 year, only up to this percentage can be invested. So that limit was there, and now that limit has been taken. And this concentration limit, if you see here, if you see, say suppose there is a company A. Okay, it is issuing corporate bond. So there will be a restriction on how much an FPI can invest in this corporate bond of the company A. Okay, so if a company is issuing a corporate bond, how much percentage can an FPI invest in that company's corporate bond? That is called as the concentration limit. The purpose of introducing the concentration limit was to avoid overexposure, so that the FPI does not invest their entire money just on one company's corporate bond. That is very risky, right? So to avoid that overexposure, this concentration limit was introduced. Now both these limits has been removed. Okay. So the previously, if you see, the limit was that in corporate bonds lesser than 1 year maturity, it was capped at 30% of the total investments of the FPI in corporate bonds. Say suppose the FPIs can invest, suppose 1 lakh. Okay, this is just an example I am telling. Suppose they are allowed to invest over 1 lakh in the corporate bond. In that 1 lakh, only up to 30,000. Okay, 30% means 30,000, right? So only up to 30,000 it can be invested in securities that are maturing within 1 year. This was the previous limit. This was the previous limit. Now this is not there. So you don't have to remember this limit and all. This was the previous one. So now this limit is not there. Similarly, the other limit, if you see, also investment in corporate debt securities by an FPI, it was limited at 15%. In case of long-term FPI, the limit was 15%, and in terms of short-term FPI, the limit was 10% in the corporate bonds. Okay, now this limit has also been taken. You don't have to remember, I'm telling you once again, you don't have to remember the limits because the limits have been taken. You just have to remember here that the short-term and the concentration limit has been removed to increase the FPI inflows into the corporate bonds. Next is that RBI mandated reporting of digital lending apps via the CMS portal. Okay, so what is this? Digital lending app, and what is this CMS portal? The digital lending app, it is nothing but a third party application. Okay, you can download this in your mobile. Here what happens is, it is very easy for the customer to download it, and what the digital lending application does is that it provides loan service, loan recovery process to the regulated entity. So generally these digital lending application, they will be connected to some or the other regulated entity. Regulated entity can be a bank or an NBFC. Okay. These digital lending app will be connected to some regulated entity, and if you see, the money will be sourced from this regulated entity to the customer who has downloaded this application and requested for money. I'll explain this with an example. Say suppose there is a person A. Okay, he has downloaded one digital lending app, say X, and this X app is in connection with this regulated entity Y. So this A person requests for some 1 lakh loan. Okay, to this digital lending application. This digital lending application would not provide any money. This digital lending application, which is in connection with a regulated entity, it will forward the request. This customer has requested 1 lakh money. Okay, look, these are the details of the customer. Review the customer, and if he or she is eligible, provide the loan. And this regulated entity will review all the details like ID proof, address proof of this person, the credit profile of this person A, and then if this regulated entity is okay, from the regulated entity pocket, this money will be transferred to the customer A. The digital lending application only sources the customer. Okay, this will help the sourcing the customer for this regulated entity. This will not provide any money to the regulated entity. Okay, there will be an agreement between this digital lending application and the regulated entity, but the money transfer will only happen between the customer and the regulated entity. No money transfer will be happen via this digital lending application. Mainly, this will help in acquiring the customers for the regulated entity. Okay, so this is what is a digital lending application. But what happened is that a lot of the digital lending application, they started falsely claiming that I am in connection with this regulated entity, but actual scenario they would not be in connection. Say suppose this the previous example that I am telling, this X is telling that I am in connection with this HDFC, but in actual scenario there was not any agreement between the X and a HDFC. So this application was a fraudulent one. It has faked the customers. That is why it is very important which are legit digital lending application and which are not. So how to differentiate? For that, there should be a portal where all the legit digital lending application will be displayed, so that customers do not get into this fraudulent digital lending application. That was the purpose. Okay, the customers should know the valid digital lending application, and those valid digital lending application will be displayed in this portal. Who will tell whether this digital lending application is valid or not? The regulated entity. The regulated entity will send the list of digital lending application it is in connection with, okay, to the RBI, and RBI will display it in the CMS portal. So the customers can verify it in the CMS portal. That is the purpose of this news. So all banks and other regulated entities are now required to report the details of their digital lending applications through this centralized information management portal of RBI. The portal will be operational for reporting from May 13, 2025, and also regulated entities are required to upload their initial data till June 15, 2025. So this will help customers in verifying the claim of the DLA's association with an RE. So whether the DLA is actually associated with that regulated entity or not, is it true or not, that can be verified in the CMS portal. That is the purpose of this portal.
We have launched a new course called Static Banking Awareness course. Now this course will be helpful for students who are preparing for the banking exams and for the regulatory body exams. And also recently you would have seen Paytm Bank in news frequently. So when an aspirant reads this news, he would have ample number of questions like what is a payment bank, what are the norms for it, and which is the committee that has launched it. So this Static Banking Awareness course lays a foundation to the current banking and finance news. Now, you have to download our AffairsCloud to access this course. Once you have logged into our app, you can go and click this all courses icon, and then you'll be redirected to this page. In this, you have to go and click the Static Banking Awareness course, and under the details tab, you will be able to see a brief about this course. And under the part tab, it will contain all the contents, all the topics of the contents that are currently available in this course. We are working on this continuously, and this will be completed within 2 months. Under the free tab, you can go and access one content, that is the origin and development content, for free. You can go and read this content and have an idea about this course. After reading this content, do attend the quiz that is also available under the same tab. Now, our team has allocated ample amount of time and resources to curate this content. We have created this content from various books and from various verified websites. Our content is better than any book that is available in the market. This is because we update this content on a dynamic basis. For example, there are currently 39 DRTs that are available in the country now. In future, if one more DRT is created or added, then it would become 40. So we would update this content on a dynamic basis. But in case of books, you have to wait for the next publication for this updated content. Nowadays, a lot of practical questions have been asked in the banking exams. For example, how many public sector banks are available on the stock exchange? Which is the payment bank that is being listed on the stock exchange? So, we try to cover as many practical questions as possible in this course. Apart from this, we also provide you a question bank that will contain around 3000 questions and the previous year questions along with it. We also have a dedicated tab that will release the important RBI notification and the frequent news released by the RBI. You can use this code B15 to avail 15% discount. This is one of the highest discounts that we have offered until now. So do avail this code B15 while you purchase the course.
The next news is about the profits reported by the public sector banks. The public sector banks overall cumulative profit, if you see, it has increased from 1.41 lakh crore in financial year 24 to 1.78 lakh crore. So a growth of almost 26% was observed. Okay, from 1.41 lakh crore to 1.78 lakh crore in just a span of 1 year. Next, if you see, out of this 1.78 lakh crore, over 40% was contributed by the State Bank of India. So the net profit of SBI was around 70,900 crores. And apart from that, Punjab National Bank, it recorded a growth of 102% compared to the previous year. In that case, if you see, the profit reported by Punjab National Bank was 16,630 crore. And in case of Punjab and Sindh Bank, if you see, it had reported a profit of 1,016 crores. Next, over public sector banks, which recorded over 40% more profit compared to the previous year. So we saw that in the previous Punjab National Bank and Punjab and Sindh Bank, they reported around 100% and 70% growth of profit, right, compared to the previous year. Here they have reported around Central Bank of India 48%, UCO Bank 47%, Bank of India around 45%. And this is the profits reported by them in financial year 2024. In financial year 2025. So if you see in 2018, that is in financial year 2018, these public sector banks, they had reported a loss of 85,390 crores, and now from loss they have reported 1.78 lakh crore profit. It is a huge jump, right? So from loss of 85,000 crore, we have grown to positive 1.78 lakh crore, and the main reason for this huge growth is 4R strategy. So this 4R strategy takes the entire credit for the growth from 85,000 loss to 1.78 lakh crore profit. So the 4R, if you see, recognizing NPAs transparently, resolution and recovery, recapitalizing public sector banks, and fourth is the reforms in the financial ecosystem. So if they ask you which among the following is not among the 4R, then you should know. So please read these names. Okay, remember what are the 4Rs. And if the government of India had infused around 3,10,000 crore to recapitalize public sector banks. See, in public sector banks, who's the major shareholder? It is the government of India, right? So it is like the government of India is like the promoter in case of public sector banks. So if any fund is required or if any capital is required, then who will provide it? Obviously, the government of India. So government of India has infused around 3,10,000, which is very huge, to recapitalize, that is to make the capitals of the public sector banks very strong and stable. For that, they had infused around 3,10,000 crore. These are the main reasons from loss making to profit making. Remember the numbers: overall profit reported, and the highest profit, if you see, out of the 1.78 lakh crore, 40% profit was reported solely by the State Bank of India itself. Next is Canara Bank has launched a product called Canara TrueEdge. Okay, Canara TrueEdge. So this, if you see, the purpose of this is to address the unique banking requirements of the institutional clients. To address the requirements of the institutional clients. This is not for the resident individuals, not for any normal individual people, but for the institutional clients. Institutional clients across various sectors like healthcare, education, and also the regional organization. So across these sectors, the requirements of the institution clients will be addressed. Institution nothing but like company. Okay, it is not like individual like you or me. This product is mainly designed for the company clients. So the tagline of the tagline of the product is grow with trust, lead with edge. This is the tagline of the product. So various features it offers is that it offers a zero initial deposit requirement for smooth onboarding. Generally, when you want to open a bank account, you will have to put some amount as a deposit, right? But here they are telling that initially you don't have to put a deposit. Later on, if you want, you can put a deposit. But when you're opening, you do not have to submit or put any deposit. Okay. Next is access to a Tier 5 monthly average balance. So the balance that has to be maintained by these institutional clients, it has to be reduced to Tier 5. Access to Tier 5 monthly average balance, which means that the average balance that they have to maintain is very less. And also they will have certain charge waivers and also concession, and also premium services will also be provided. They will also have access to unlimited free transaction NEFT, RTGS, UPI, and also unlimited check leaves will be provided. So So here if you see, you have to remember mainly only the product that has been launched by the Canara Bank. Other all details is not that required, it's not that much important, but you have to know what is the product name that has been launched and for whom it has been launched. So here if you see, it's not launched for any individual, it is launched for institution clients. This one you have to remember. And tell me in the comment section who is the chairman of Canara Bank. Mention the answer in the comment section. Next is UBI has launched a product called Union Wellness Deposit. So this Union Wellness Deposit, if you see, it is a retail deposit scheme, and this is for resident individual aged between 18 years and 75 years. So anyone who is aged between 18 and 75, they can open this deposit scheme. The tenure is 375 days. The interest rate offered is 6.75%, and for senior citizen, that is for people aged more than 60 years, they will have an additional 0.5% in the interest rate. The minimum amount that can be invested is 10 lakhs. So if you only have 10 lakhs, you can come and open the scheme. If you have below that, then you cannot have access to the scheme. Okay. So minimum investment is 10 lakhs and the maximum is 3 crores. So apart from that, you will also have access to super top-up health insurance cover of 5 lakhs. So this is also provided along with this deposit scheme. So remember, age of the people should be 18 to 75, 375 days, 6.75% per annum. Minimum investment is 10 lakhs and maximum is 3 crores. The product name is Union Wellness Deposit. Next is Bhutan has launched the world's first national cryptocurrency tourism payment system. So what does this mean? It means that here cryptocurrency can be used for buying air tickets or for visa payment, or even if you're going for a tour, if you want to pay for the guide in the Bhutan, that this cryptocurrency itself can be used. So this, if you see, this can be asked as an objective question also. They might ask you that which is the first country that has launched the world's first national cryptocurrency tourism payment system. That can also come. Otherwise, this is a very good point that can be included in the descriptive answer if they ask you about anything about crypto. Okay, because crypto, it is a booming topic, right? So everyone, it is growing, it is evolving day by day. So there might be a descriptive question on this. So this is a very good point that you can be that can be included. So these kind of data, it will help you fetch more marks. So you can generally write about crypto in a normal manner, but entering data, when you write more data, then it will fetch more marks. That is why I'm telling, have a Word document or a notepad where you can note down these points. So we'll read about this news in further. So here, if you see this cryptocurrency payment system, it has been launched or through the collaboration of Binance Pay. So this payment system is launched in collaboration with Binance Pay. So this is a cryptocurrency platform. Okay. So what is Binance Pay? Binance Pay, it is nothing but a cryptocurrency platform or where a lot of trading takes place. Just like you have stock markets where the stocks are traded, right? Similarly, for the crypto trading, this platform, this is one of the platform that is being used in the worldwide. And Binance Pay, also there's one more entity, that is DK Bank of Bhutan. So these two together, they have launched this payment system. So DK Bank of Bhutan, if you see, it is the Bhutan's first fully digital bank. So this will enable the travelers to use cryptocurrencies for service payments. So if you have cryptocurrencies, then you can use it here. So where all can this be used? If you see, this can be used in various places, like to pay for the airline tickets, so for the visa fees, and also for hotel bookings, and also for the monument entries, local purchase, tour guides also, you can make payment via this. So if you see, the tourist with Binance accounts can use over 100 cryptocurrencies. So Binance account, if you see, it is like a platform, right? So in that, you can have various types of currencies. Just like, say suppose there is Kite. What is Kite? It is you can have a demat account, and there you have a lot of stocks in that. Similarly, here Binance account, you can have a lot of cryptocurrencies in that. And here, if you see, it in Bitcoin, Binance Coin, and United States dollar coin. These are all the various types of cryptocurrencies that are accepted in this Bhutan payment system. Okay, and where all can the payment be made? In these all areas, this cryptocurrency payment can be made. Say suppose you have visited some tourist place and you have made some local purchase. So you have made the payment to the merchant A via the crypto. But what will he do with the crypto in Bhutan country? So he can go to the DK bank and convert that crypto into the Bhutan currency, that is Ngiltram. So here if you see, the cryptocurrencies payment are instantly converted into Bhutan Ingiltrum. I hope I am pronouncing it right. So who will convert it? It will be done by the DK bank. Okay, so the payment will be made to the merchant via crypto payment, and that cryptocurrency can be converted into the Bhutan currency by the DK bank. So this is how the entire cryptocurrency is used now in the tourism payment system in the Bhutan. Prime Minister of Bhutan is Dasho Shering Togde, and capital is Thimphu. The currency is Bhutanese Ingiltram. Next is RBI has recognized Fixed Income Money Market and Derivative Association. Fixed Income Money Market and Derivative Association as self-regulatory organization for the financial market. See, you have a self-regulatory organization separately for NBFC, for banks, and even for urban cooperative bank also you have separate SRO. Similarly, this for financial market also. Financial market, what will happen? Bonds will be traded, capital money will be raised from the public. So all this happens in the financial market, right? For that, a separate SRO has now been recognized, and that SRO is Fixed Income Money Market and Derivative Association. So what is the purpose of the SRO? It will help the regulatory body along with RBI. It will also help that the regulating entities, like in case of banks, if you see, it will ensure the banks fulfill or follow all the rules and regulation that are put by the RBI. Similarly, the same purpose, the same task only it will be doing in this financial market also. So if you see, this will regulate the member conduct and enforce fair practices in the financial market. That will be the function of this FIMMDA as an SRO. So if any entity wants to become an SRO in the financial market, it has certain conditions that it has to be fulfilled. Like if you see, it should be a not-for-profit company. Next is that net worth should be around 10 crores. So the net worth should be minimum of 10 crores, and no single entity should hold more than 10% of the paid up capital. This is to ensure that the paid up capital are well diversified. Okay, not one single entity should hold more than 10% of the paid up capital. Say suppose the paid up capital is 100 crores, and if there is an entity who is holding 15 crores, then this is more than 10%, right? So they cannot apply for this SRO license. That is what this means. So fixed income money market. So Fixed Income Money Market and Derivative Association, if you see, it is an association of commercial banks, public financial institution, primary dealers and insurance company. It was formed in 1998. Remember when it was formed? It was formed in 1998. So what will they do? It will help the members in India deal with the bonds, money markets and also various contracts like derivatives in an organized and a fair way. So this will create an environment where all this can be dealt in a fair and an organized way. That is the main purpose of this FIMMDA. Next is the Porter. It becomes India's third unicorn of 2025 by raising $200 million in Series F funding. See, there are a lot of type of funding. Okay, A, B, C, D, E, F. So here F round of funding has been done by the Porter. So only after you do A, B, C, D, E type of funding, you can go to the F funding. So A, B, C, if you see, they are the early stage of funding. When the startup has just started, they do ABC series of funding. And when the startup is already developed, so it is functioning properly, then if they raise any money, then it will be either in the D, E, F series of fund. Okay. So mainly here, if you see, the Porter has raised 200 million US dollars, the series F round, and it has become the third unicorn of 2025. So around 1700 crores has been raised, and the Porter valuation after this raising, okay, after this money has been raised, the Porter valuation is now 1.1 to 1.2 billion. And if you see, unicorn definition is any startup who is valued at over 1 billion. If a startup is valued at over 1 billion, then it is a unicorn. So since Porter valuation is somewhere between 1.1 to 1.2 billion, it is also a unicorn. So this is the third unicorn in 2025. And if you see who founded Porter, it is three people, that is Pranav Goyal, Uttam Diga and Vikas Chaudhary. Together they have founded this Porter app. So Porter generally they will help in the logistics. Okay, if you want to, just like packers and movers, if you want to transfer, if you want to send any goods to another place, then you can do it via the Porter. Next is Japan-based Sumitomo Mitsui Banking Corporation, SMBC. plans to buy, it agrees to buy 20% stake in the Mumbai-based Yes Bank Limited. Okay, so this bank will be buying, that is Japan-based SMBC will be buying 20% stake in the Yes Bank. So if someone is selling, someone will be buying the shares, right? If I am buying a share, it means that someone is selling the share. So here, if this bank is buying, then who is selling? State Bank of India is selling a huge share, around 12 to 13% it is selling, and the rest is being sold by around 7 private sector banks. Let us look into the detail. So this total transaction value is 13,483 crore. So this bank, Japan Bank, will buy Yes Bank for 20% stake for 13,483 crore. And if you see, this is the largest cross-border investment in the Indian banking sector. So SBI, if you see, it will sell around 13.19% stake in Yes Bank. So this will be selling a huge stake, that is 13.19%. So the total value is around 8,889 crores. So it was previously holding 23.97%, that is around 24% stake in Yes Bank. Okay. SBI was holding around 24% stake in Yes Bank. After this transaction is completed, the shareholding capacity will go down to 10%. That is, it will hold only 10% because it is selling around 13% stake. Similarly, the other banks which are selling around 6.81 stake are ICICI Bank, HDFC Bank, Kotak Mahindra Bank, Axis Bank, IDFC First Bank, Federal Bank and Bandhan Bank. So these are the other banks that are selling their stake to the Japan Bank. Okay. Here, that you have to remember here is that how much 20% stake is being bought by the Japan Bank, okay, SMBC, and SBI is selling around 13%. Okay, this is the main thing that you have to remember. The MD and CEO of Yes Bank is Prashant Kumar. It is headquartered in Mumbai. Next is Doha-based Qatar National Bank. It has become the first bank from the MEA, that is Middle East and Africa region, to open its branch in GIFT, that is located in Gandhinagar. So if you see, Qatar QNB already has a branch in India, but not in GIFT. In GIFT there is no branch. They are opening right only now. But in India, they have already opened the branch in 2017. So in the year 2017, the QNB established its first branch in India. Next is SBI joins global top 100 in the net profit. So it is the third Indian company to achieve this milestone. So in the net profit, if you see, among the 100 companies, among the 100 entities, SBI has also joined. This is the third Indian company. So what are the other two Indian companies who had already joined this top 100? First one, if you see, ONGC, it had joined in 2009. Next is Mumbai-based Reliance Industries, which joined the top 100 in 2021. And now if you see, SBI has joined the third Indian company. Net profit is around 9.2 billion in financial year 25. Okay. And the top two companies, if you see, in the top 100 in net profit terms. Remember, this is in terms of net profit. First one is Alphabet. Next is Saudi Aramco. And in the top 100, around 43 companies are from US, 19 companies are from China, and next 5 companies are from Germany. So maximum representation is from US, then China, then Germany. Next is about an appointment. So Harvansh P. Chawla has been appointed as the chairman of the New Delhi-based BRICS Chamber of Commerce and Industry. Okay, BRICS CCI chairman is now Harvansh P. Chawla. Remember the name; it is very important. Appointments and all, it is very, very important. So you have to keep it in your mind. Okay. So this one, if you see, what is the purpose of this CCI? So this will promote trade, investment, and also the cooperation among the BRICS nations. So the BRICS full form is Brazil, Russia, India, China and South Africa, and in 2024 the BRICS expanded. So in comment section you have to tell me what are the other BRICS countries. Okay, I have mentioned the full form of BRICS, but you have to tell me the other countries of the BRICS. Next is about a report that has been released by the SIDBI. So SIDBI had released this report called Understanding the Indian MSME Sector, the Progress and the Challenges. So this report, it was constructed based on the survey conducted across 2097 MSMEs across 19 sectors in manufacturing, trading and services. So survey of around 2000 MSMEs were conducted, and then based on that survey results, this report was published. Okay. So in this survey, if you see, it was observed that compared to March 2024, in March 2025, you see 6.2 crores Okay, 6.2 crores MSME have registered themselves in the Udyam registration portal. This Udyam registration portal, if you see, it is a government initiative. Okay, so MSMEs, if they want any loan or if they want even recognition, proper recognition, they have to be registered with this portal. And it is very easy because this can be done digitally itself. And also, if the MSME wants to participate in the public procurement process or public procurement jobs, then also they have to be registered with this Udyam registration portal. Okay, so this is actually very good for them because it will be quite easier for them also to get loans from the banks. So from 2.5 crores, it has gone up to 6.2 crores as on March 2025. Next, if you see, out of the total exports, around 45.79% are exported by the MSME. This important is the role of MSME in the country's export. Out of the total exports made, 45.79% export is contributed by the MSME. And also, if you see, compared to financial 23 and financial 24, the number of establishments, the number of MSME establishments, it has increased from 6.5 crores to 7.34 crores. So I know there's a lot of data under this report, but you have to remember at least the very important data, like around 46% is contributed, exports is contributed by the MSME. The previous one we saw regarding the Udyam registration portal, right? Because Udyam registration portal is very, very important for MSME. So you have to know how much is the latest number. Okay. Next is access to credit. So access to credit is that here, though the bank is taking a lot of steps, though the government is taking a lot of steps to provide credit facilities to the MSME sector, in spite of that, %3 of the small enterprises, around 2% of the medium enterprises, and around 12% of the micro enterprises still depend upon informal borrowing. See, though the steps taken by the government and the banks are very good, but still 3% of small and 2% of medium and 12% of the micro enterprises still depend upon informal borrowing for their funding purpose. Next, if you see, 18% of the MSMEs use digital lending and 90% accept digital payment, which is a very good number. In financial 23, if you see, around 22% MSMEs were women owned, and in 24 it has been increased to 26%. Okay, from 22% being owned by women, it has been increased to 26%, which is very good because it is more than 10% improvement. And also more than 1/3 of the respondents in the MSME sector have adopted some form of sustainable practices. See, I know this news has a lot of data, but you don't have to remember each and every data, but you have to know the trend. The number of MSME establishment has increased, and also number of MSMEs that have registered themselves with the Udyam registration portal has also increased. Similarly, here also if you see, the MSMEs owned by the women also it has increased. Here, this data and all, no, you can use it in your descriptive answer. You can tell that around 25% MSMEs are now owned by women, are run by women, which is a very good point to show women entrepreneurship, which show women empowerment. And also, if they ask you about any sustainable practices, you can tell that around 1/3 of these respondents, you can mention the report name, and you can tell that around 1/3 of these respondents in the survey, they have adopted sustainable practices. So this and all, this question and all, obviously they will not ask you in the objective, right? So you can use it in the descriptive. So see, in this overall news itself, I think only 2 or 3 you can use it in the descriptive part. Okay, that type of news you have to please jot it down in a separate notepad or a Word document so that it does not confuse. Please note down these points. It's very, very important to fetch you more marks in the descriptive part. Next is the Uttarakhand state. It had secured 1,910 crores from the Luxembourg-based European Investment Bank. So, from the Luxembourg-based European Investment Bank, it has received around 1,910 crores. So, this will be used for improvement of the drinking water and the sewage system, and also enhancement of the drinking water supply infrastructure in these states, in these cities of Uttarakhand. Remember the amount, it is 1,910 crores, and the two parties involved here, that is Uttarakhand and the European Investment Bank. Next is the penalty imposed by the Reserve Bank of India. So RBI has imposed a penalty of 1.72 crores on State Bank of India and around 1 crore on Jana Small Finance Bank. Okay, for regulatory non-compliance, for not complying with the rules and regulation of RBI, this penalty has been imposed. So right before the exam, if you see, at least like 3-4 months back, you have to know the penalty amount imposed by the Reserve Bank of India on the various banks. At least for 3-4 months before the exam, you have to know the data.
Thank you for watching the session. I hope you had enjoyed it. We're also available in Telegram under the name AffairsCloud_official. We also have an Instagram handle. Thank you.